When I was in high school, first getting into fitness, I fell into the dark rabbit hole of bodybuilder dieting advice. You want to know where it got me? Getting called a fat ass by one of my boys. I was 18 years old, maybe 3 months into actually taking the gym seriously. I was going every single day, and for the first time in my life, I was paying attention to what I ate. There was a huge problem I didn't realize at the time though. My physique wasn't getting better. It was somehow getting worse. It was my friend's birthday, so we went to this Mexican restaurant for dinner and then ended up back at another friend's house to just hang out. As we were going about our night normally, I saw a scale sitting in the corner of his room. And at the time, I didn't even own a scale since I had never really worried about my weight before, so I just stepped on it out of curiosity. 200 pounds it read. And before I could even process that, one of my friends goes, "Oh my gosh, you're a fat ass." After that, I tried to play it off and run with the joke, but deep down, I was unbelievably pissed and even more embarrassed. I was 175 pounds 3 months before that. 3 months of going to the gym every single day, and I'd somehow managed to gain love handles, not lose them. That was the moment I knew something had to change. The funny thing about this though is that it wasn't effort I was missing. It was simply that I had no idea what I was actually doing because the fitness space had completely fried my brain. I had guys like Sam Solik and Rich Piana, rest in peace, telling me to eat 4,000 calories a day of whatever I wanted. I had these Instagram guys swearing I needed to eat 100% whole foods all the time or I was gonna die. And the worst of all of them, guys who just said protein and macros are all that matter so they could sell me their bar or powder. I was so unbelievably confused and overwhelmed, so I just chose the easiest of those options. I ate whatever I wanted and just tried to hit my body weight in protein. That was all that really mattered to me. What I didn't realize was that I had accidentally stumbled into what I now call the unintentional dirty bulk. My gut was wrecked. I felt awful every single day, and worst of all, I just hated the way I looked. If I'd had a video from an actually natural lifter, someone who'd been through all the noise and come out the other side all right, if I'd had someone that I felt I could actually trust, it would have saved me months of spinning my wheels. That is exactly who I'm trying to be for you today. Not a guy who takes steroids and dedicates his life to bodybuilding, just a guy who figured out how to build the physique he wants, enjoys life, and actually become the healthiest version of himself. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. Before I walk you through what a usual full day of eating looks like, I'm going to give you my extremely simple philosophy on dieting. There's 3 big principles you need to understand. Number 1, yes, calories in, calories out is real. Down the road, someone probably told you, oh, you just need to eat healthier and you'll lose all the weight that you want, which that just simply isn't the case. The law of thermodynamics is the exact same as the law of gravity. You need to find your maintenance calories using the link in the description, then run a 300 to 500 calorie deficit until you get there. Tracking your calories and macros isn't obsessive, it's just information and practice that's much needed, especially when you're just starting out or you know you tend to overeat. Number 2, eat whole foods at least 85% of the time. If you're eating 3 meals a day, that's around 21 meals per week. At most, 3 of those can be less than perfect, ideally just 1 or 2. And I'm not saying those off meals need to be a Big Mac or a whole Domino's pizza every single time. I'm saying if you're out with your family at a Mexican restaurant, get steak fajitas. If it's your mom's birthday, have a slice of cookie cake. That's totally fine. All you have to do is avoid the egregious stuff in crazy amounts, aka the crash outs. And the big goal of this is to not restrict yourself from real life like a lot of these guys tell you to do. You're just being smart about how much and how frequently you let it slide. And I promise you, that is more than enough to get to your goals. And the main reason we want to stick to majority whole foods is to just obviously feel great, but you also will be satiated longer and your hormones will be better. Number 3, build a rotation of 3 to 5 go-to meals and just stick to it. This one's probably the most important. I absolutely despise it when I see fitness coaches on Instagram post some exact daily meal plan their clients use. First off, I know that's complete cap that they eat those same meals every single day at the same times. And second off, that's just no way to live life. The solution is to have those set of 3 to 5 meals that you like with different variations of them and just switching them around based on what food you have around the house or what you even just want to eat. If you either have this super strict meal plan or you have no idea what to cook at all, dieting all of a sudden becomes this elaborate puzzle when it should just be a coloring book. You have the outline, but you get to pick and choose the colors that are used. For me, that rotation is some version of a homemade Chipotle bowl, overnight oats, a Greek yogurt bowl, smoothies, or steak or chicken. I've got a free Google Doc in the description that breaks down all of these in detail if you want some more info on that. Let's get into what a day of eating actually looks like right now while I'm cutting. In the morning, I typically fast for the first 3 to 5 hours of the day. No, this is not at all because fasting is some magic trick that makes you lose fat. It's just because most of my classes and focus work happen in the morning. I think so much better when I'm not digesting my food or spiking my blood sugar, and this also shrinks my eating window, making it way easier to stay under my calories. If I happen to be training in the morning, I'll have something small beforehand, usually a banana with honey or a Jacob bar. And those have real ingredients, by the way, they're not just protein slop. And my actual first meal of the day usually is what's fueling my workout, and today it was the Chipotle bowl. 10 ounces of 93.7 ground beef, 3/4 cup white rice, onions, 3 eggs, and an ounce of cheese. There's a ton of different ways I customize this, and if you want some inspiration on what that looks like, go check out that free Google Doc in the description. And when I do this, I always cook 3 to 4 servings of beef, onion, and rice so that I don't have to worry about cooking this meal for the next couple days. For the second meal of the day, which is usually right after I lift, I'll have a serving of these overnight oats I usually meal prep. These have a half cup of organic oats, a half cup of non-fat Greek yogurt, a 1/4 cup of 2% milk, a tablespoon of honey, and a scoop of protein powder. And yes, I know protein powder isn't technically a whole food, but I'm using Santa Cruz Paleo, which is pretty much about as clean as it gets. And to finish it off, I put a cup of blueberries right on top before eating. I'll make around 4 to 5 of these at a time whenever I run out, and they only take about 20 minutes to prep. Usually for a snack, I'll have a smoothie, which can be great if you're cutting or bulking. Right now, I'm cutting, so this will be a super high volume, low calorie option. What you're going to want to do is blend a cup of frozen blueberries, half a frozen banana, a 1/4 cup of 2% milk, a scoop of protein powder, and some ice. That's 260 calories right there, a ton of micronutrients, and also a ton of volume. Some days, if I want something quick, I'll also just grab a couple kiwis. For the last meal of the day, it's usually when I get done with all my work, and I've honestly used cooking as a way to decompress and relax lately. What I'll usually do is dice up some yellow or sweet potatoes, pick 1 to 2 proteins, which usually is just ground beef, eggs, or Greek yogurt, and I make a meal out of it. Tonight, I just went with 400 grams of gold potatoes and 3 eggs. The total for the day came out to 2,400 calories and 185 grams of protein, which is right where I want to be. What I'm cutting, those are the 2 numbers that I track. I stay under my calorie target and I hit 170 grams of protein. So that's a usual full day of eating for me, but I want to make this clear. Not every day is perfect like this. I mix up the carb sources, I eat out sometimes, and I'll even grab a couple cookies if they're sitting around here and there. That's normal life, and you 100% can have those things in moderation while still staying shredded and being healthy. What I am doing to move the needle, though, is eating these simple meals very regularly. And when I do eat something off plan, I track it and I keep the portions in check. And what I hope you noticed by the end of this video is that I didn't tell you a ton of things that you didn't already know. What I hopefully did, though, was weed out the nonsense and paint the picture that sometimes less is more. If this video helped and pushed you in the right direction, go check out my Instagram and drop a follow. And drop a sub over here while you're at it too. I appreciate you all for watching. God bless.